Hey everyone, Steve here from 11ish, a channel where we talk about lucrative investment strategies and opportunities based on the requests from the 11ish collective. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and then you can ask me whatever you want. I will provide you the feedback and the strategies that has made my financial freedom happen. Today we're going to talk about another request from the 11ish collective. It is a pretty technical company that is super well known in the Silicon Valley. This is Palantir. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of investing in it and how it might fit in your portfolio. So if this is the type of content you've been looking for, please hit that like button and let's get started. To give you a brief intro on Palantir, it is a 17-year-old company with 2,500 employees, and it is specialized in big data. What that means is data management and data analytics. They are especially famous for doing business intelligence analytics for the government agencies, surveillance, finding anomalies, pattern recognition, all of that sweet stuff that you don't really hear about but know is going around in the background. They do that. So far, they are making $740 million in revenue, which is a shit ton of money. And the other number that's been thrown around publicly is that they have 125 customers. That's right, guys, you heard that correctly. 125 customers, making them $740 million in revenue. We're going to talk about my thoughts around that in a bit, but let's talk about the pros. The first positive about Palantir is that it's in an industry that will constantly evolve and it will never go away. Data analytics and data storage is the bread and butter and table stakes for today's modern economy. You have to have it to figure out how to eke out the optimization to beat out your competitor. Without big data, you might as well be running your business blind. To give you some simple examples, big data will allow you to figure out whether your marketing campaign is worth it. Black Friday, for example, you hear about this onslaught of customers coming out of the woodwork trying to shop and get discounts on a single day. Now, as a product manager or leadership, you'll be wondering whether it's actually worth it. Are you, for example, building a better brand on this specific day? Are you actually making money compared to the security and the extra overtime and perhaps the lawsuits involved because of people getting trampled, for example? With big data and data analytics, Walmart, for example, can look at 5,000 stores in the United States on Black Friday and figure out where can they tinker a little bit to get more value. Or maybe they can stop Black Friday altogether and go online. And that's what some companies did last Black Friday, right? Because it doesn't necessarily mean that it makes sense for everyone just because it is such a well-known day for shopping. Just because you're getting a shitload of traffic does not mean it equates to revenue gain or brand awareness or whatever it is, right? Because it depends on what you're selling and how it fits in your business. Another simple example, you as a business may leverage data, both public and private data, to figure out, if you're starting to open a chain of your retail stores, how would you choose the neighborhoods? Big data will tell you that. Where is it more profitable? If you're Target, does it make more sense for you to park near Walmart? Does that make you more or less profitable? Data will tell you that. That's going to cost you a lot of money if you decide to do trial and error instead of looking in the data sets that you have to figure out the answer. So this is the power of big data. This is why everybody leverages it. And you can also hear that based on the problems and the solutions I'm trying to solve, the product, even though all of them are big data, they may do some things better than others, right? They're built to optimize a certain business niche versus another. This is why there are so many big data companies, so many upcoming ones, and so many incumbents. And this is why the space is always evolving, always creating new business opportunities. Palantir clearly has already carved out a chunk of the space, specifically in security and government agencies, and I believe their efficacy is validated by the fact that they're funded by the CIA's VC arm. That's in itself impressive, but also tells you that the company is not just going to disappear. It's always going to have good funding behind it as long as it doesn't do anything stupid, which there's no reason why it would. I actually think that this company, if it follows its current trajectory, having its expertise and performance around security and governmental agencies, I think it's going to perform more like Lockheed and Martin, which is not a bad thing. It just means that, to me, it's a long-term hold. If you're looking for a short-term gain in the next 3 to 6 months, I'm not so sure. That being said, they did point out that they're expecting a 40% year-over-year growth in 2020, and that is impressive. So if they can pull that off, maybe they are, actually capturing new markets more effectively. Because one of my concerns is that once your business has been branded to be known for a certain thing, oftentimes it's hard for you to tackle something more general. So if you're known for government and security, it might be hard for you to tackle e-commerce, right? Because your business isn't known for that. And being that this big data market is very saturated, there are plenty of other businesses like Snowflake, for example, who is going to get the first shot at landing the deal. It absolutely doesn't mean that Palantir's technology and services can't do e-commerce. It just means that there are plenty of other companies that are already known for it, and they're gonna get the first eyeball. It's like if you're looking to buy groceries, your first thought isn't going to Target. Even though Target sells groceries, you're thinking about actual grocery stores. And that's more or less what I mean. They've carved out this territory for themselves. They're known for surveillance and anomaly detection, facial recognition, that kind of stuff. And now they're trying to tackle new markets to essentially expand their reach, which I completely agree that should be the right thing to do, but it's an uphill battle in my opinion. So we'll see how that thing plays out. I'm just saying that it makes more sense as a long-term investment. And frankly, if they were capturing additional markets well, then I think they would have had a lot more than 125 customers by now, being that it is a 17-year-old company. And Palantir has become synonymous with uncovering fraud and wrongdoings. That is very, very specific as a business vertical. My second concern ties into the first, which is that big data as an industry is already saturated. And on top of that, it's getting even more aggressive. So for example, one of their competitors is Snowflake, which just had a very successful IPO and is backed by Warren Buffett and Salesforce. Tableau is also a competitor of Palantir. Tableau is owned by Salesforce. Another example, me as a product manager working in both public and private companies, I've always used BigQuery, which is ran by Google Analytics. You can see that there is a lot of big players in the market. They all do very, very well, perform very, very well, which is why I actually think that right now, Palantir is not a competitor against any of these other big data companies, because Palantir's niche is government and security. That kind of stuff that needs a super high-end certification and also, features that are tailored for those kind of analytics, that the ones that I'm familiar with that are huge companies as well, they decided to stay more generic to tackle more of the market. And so I actually don't think they're direct competitors right now, but they're in the same space. But if Palantir starts tackling newer markets that has a broader appeal, they will instantly become competitors. And at that point, I think it will be an uphill battle. The last point I want to highlight is the fact that Palantir is kind of going IPO in a very weird way, in the sense that they've created so many revisions and pushed their IPO date back, because you have to keep in mind it usually takes a company 6 to 12 months to prepare for a proper IPO as opposed to a SPAC. And suddenly in the last 2-3 weeks they decided to do this. It really makes me wonder how they release their own products. And if they do the same things, I don't know, man. It's a little questionable to me. I mean, I usually don't point out gut feelings because it's in many ways baseless, but it's too weird. And I think people should be aware of it. So all in all, I do not think Palantir is a bad investment. I don't think it makes sense as a short-term investment. And I think the price has to be right, because ultimately there's going to be a long road ahead. You're going to be tying up your fund for a long-term investment. Do I think there are better investments? I think you should invest in LMT. But if you want to invest in something that has the potential of having explosive growth, we know that LMT probably don't. So this stock might, right? There is that. Time will tell. Me personally, I'm going to avoid this investment. But it isn't every day where you get an opportunity to invest in a company that's backed by the CIA. That's all I have to say about the company. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave me a note. If you have any additional information about Palantir that you'd like to share with the 11ers Collective, that's what this is all about. So please leave a comment as well. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. And thanks for watching, and I look forward to working with you next time.
you.